This is a really good book for all ages. I'm about halfway through this right now. It's called The Magic of Reality. It's Richard Dawkins. And it's described as a book, answers for kids from 12 to 82. So it's truly a book for all ages. It's not meant as a dig on religion. It's not meant as a dig or political or whatever. It's just more to try to clarify one point of view. We all know how hard it is to change each other's points of view when you try to say I'm on the left and my brother-in-law's on the right. It's hard to change his point of view. Some really interesting insights. The Skeptical Inquirer has a review from Keith Taylor. He says, quote, "It's fun to read, but it's not just a fun book. While Dawkins does not give myths credence, he does not ignore them. Chapter after chapter begins with both an illustration of what people often choose to believe in the past and an explanation of why they likely believed it. Then he carefully takes us through the science that illuminates the topic. The book could not come at a better time. Election year always brings a plethora of religious ideas touted to put America back on the right track." And Keith goes on to say, "Oh, sure, we have been awash with credulous thinking. Now, thanks to the internet, credulity and misinformation come at the speed of fiber optics. No longer do we have to depend on the local village idiot to keep us believing in the little green men with pointy heads. Today, that village idiot is probably a popular blogger." Ellie Scheinauer, a noted San Diego scientist, says it's very difficult to change people's opinions. Sometimes the best we can do is to plant a seed of doubt. There's that frustration I run into when I try to do blogs or Facebooks with people, especially ingrained in a right-wing, hardcore right-wing philosophy. They blow it off and change the subject right away. There's just no getting into any meaningful conversation. They have their minds made up. So what Dawkins is trying to do is just, if you can change a few minds here, that's all he's looking at. He does concede he enjoys good stories. Indeed, when asked by an interviewer to name his favorite myth, Dawkins named the book of Genesis. And Keith goes on to say the reader will certainly not learn all the answers. Dawkins didn't. On page 180 he writes about how with a big bang, time itself and space itself began. Don't ask me to explain that, because not being a cosmologist, I don't understand it myself. But I guess the main thing about being a scientist is not assuming anything. It's not assuming that somebody made something. And that's the start of real knowledge, is to know that you don't know. That's all. That's how simple it really is. And if we all could be that humble, what a different world it would be. And so, great book. Great illustrations. Don't buy the Kindle, buy the real book. And I was lucky enough to get it for Christmas from my parents.